Hello, everyone. My name is Arnaud St. Paul. Hello. Today, we're going to talk about joyfulness and how to be joyful and what does that mean, not only to be joyful in our day-to-day lives, hopefully, but also how does that impact our capacity to live a full life and also to, if we are change makers and entrepreneurs, how does joyfulness enters the equation? How does it work? How can we really live this joyfulness without losing this focus on what we want to manifest and to achieve? Joyfulness is a big aspect of what we can use as an ingredient of success. And we're going to be able to see today that joyfulness makes complete sense at all levels if we are really serious about living this fullness of ourselves and at the same time, as I mentioned, achieve the results we're looking for. So this is not an aspect that seems to be a bit remote to the initial concern, but on the contrary, it is an amazing platform to realize the fullness of what you are and who you want to become. So I would like to, introduce this and see how we can apply in our day-to-day. So first and foremost, where's my mouse? Here we go. So what is WHOS? It's there to help you change your world, and it is also there to help change makers, entrepreneurs, so that they are supported every week by this initiative. It's guided by 30 years research on my Heartful method that I created, and we are revisiting a core concept of reality. We're looking to make it better and serving you so that you can be the most or the highest version of yourselves. The whole purpose of that is to create a more symphonic you, a business that has more coherence and therefore is in the flow. So how can we do that? Well, one, you can watch this webinar, and then second, you can join us afterwards on tapwhat.com/whosfree, and there we can have a Q&A. So I'm looking forward to see you after this session. We cannot cure the world of sorrows, but we can choose to live in joy. That's what Joseph Campbell mentioned. And indeed, living in joy is a choice. I believe this is important to remember, and you can see me here in the south of Spain, in a beautiful setting. And, choosing whether it is in this setting or in any other business setting we may have, the conclusion is the same. We can make a choice at any time. It's up to us if we want to activate it or not. So for the people that were in past sessions, you may have already seen this pyramid created by the Dr. David Hawkins. And the game here, or what it is trying to do, is to measure the frequency of different emotions that we have, right? So as you can see at the bottom level in the red area, we have emotions like pride, anger, desire, grief, etc., apathy. And then as we go up, right, we get into the happy and productive area. And then we have peak performance without stress, and then synchronicity and extraordinary outcomes. And it is in that last area that we find joy, at the top of that area. And then we have peace above. So as we can see, and we knew already intuitively, that joy is in the higher range of frequency of emotions we can feel or feelings. It is a space that comes from within and that is expressed whether there is an environment that leads to it or not. It's a choice. So, do we want to be the victim of our environment or choosing to see a space that is neutral and that we can experience as we may choose? So let's see what we have in store about that. One concept that I share in this framework, the Heartful Method, is that it's more of an image, a metaphor maybe, of this life that we live every day is a series of notes on a score. And I would say that at first, we write our symphony of ourselves on one octave. So a very simplistic and simple but limited range of notes. And so one octave equals to a reality set, meaning a certain level of expected results that come about and provide a certain range of experiences. We also have the capacity to jump to a new octave, or probably better, acquire a new octave. So these are the two possibilities, meaning if we go back to the pyramid of earlier, maybe at first we are creating our experience around grief and apathy. These is our main octave. And then all of a sudden we start to include anger, desire, and even trust, optimism, forgiveness. So we expand the range of possibilities and experiences, and therefore operate a rebirth. And we can even go beyond in the sense that we let go of the old patterns and therefore the old octaves, and we grow in terms of frequency across octaves as we grow the range of them. So to make it more concrete, we go from for instance, an emotion like superficiality, and as we get into the higher octave, we get to self-assurance that leads to presence, that is a higher version of the same emotion that is wider and has more girth and more aspect to it and provides a deeper experience. So as you can see, one is the echo of the other, that is the echo of the other. We can expand and explore more of ourselves. And the same applies to joy, right? So we have the seed of joy in ourselves always, it's always there. We choose not to presence it and to be present to it. We choose by default most of the time. What if we could actually choose consciously? Would that be an opportunity? And there is what you can do on a daily basis, right? So if you were to choose more consciously this opportunity to be more enjoyed, for instance, you could do what we call the mind talk, which is low vibration, low frequency, sorry, and you're sticking whether in neutral mode or in the emotions, or you use your thoughts and your actions, in this case through talk, by selecting carefully the emotions you want to be present to in a consciously way, right? Instead of doing it by default. So obviously, when we look at just two people doing the mind talk, it creates very quickly a vicious cycle, because if you are thinking and emoting and talking in anger, for instance, the other person will probably feel fear or apathy or guilt or shame. So it makes sense to maybe stop that and choose another way of being. Imagine if this second person here was talking and speaking and thinking and feeling in joy. So it would be here, up there. So this other person wouldn't have any more grip on the narrative. And that creates a very, very different outcome for both of them. So the question is, what is it that you want to do, right? So we see here, again, the same scenario. I think, therefore, I am. This idea of the mind that it exists because it is thinking. So that creates most of the time chaos in the sense of not coherent frequencies. And because of that, it will impact our reality, not only at the perception level, but also in the actual series of events that happen every day. And reinforcing constantly a closed loop of identification with that reality. So, in other words, you get into a more and more and more vicious cycle. On the other hand, if we go for a conscious choice, if we go for a following our heart, and therefore focusing more on the inner harmony of ourselves, then automatically the thoughts and the emotions and the actions will be more in harmony too, in alignment, in coherence. And you will therefore enter, or your reality will enter into syntony with that. Therefore, helping you to expand further yourself, exploring higher and higher frequencies of joy, for instance, and allowing you to be completely yourself and not a fruit of the identification, in other words, on autopilot. So what happens, when life comes with obviously things that are in harmony, others that are chaotic, or seems like it in any case, although, out of my experience, everything is actually harmonious. However, we don't see it that way at first. And there are so many examples that I could share. And it is amazing the fact that we tend not to make choices or to let us being carried away by the patterns. And therefore, maybe it's time to stop for a moment and make a conscious choice, symbolized here by this question mark. So, in other words, whenever something happens to our lives, whether it's a situation, a conversation, a dialogue, an issue of business issue, personal issue, maybe it is about stopping for a moment, pressing the pause button we have on our heart, that I like to call it, and choosing consciously whether we want to think, have the emotion, and have the action that will lead me towards more fear or towards more harmony. And as I explained earlier, if I go towards more harmony, I will expand, and my potentials of manifestation of whatever I'm working on will increase. If I go towards more fear, it will narrow itself down and get more and more constraints. The more assertive you are in that choice, the stronger the actual manifestation you're looking at. In other words, if you are really putting all your intention in something that you care about, the actual outcome will be a stronger and happen faster than if it's not the case. So assertiveness is also another aspect that is very important. I would like to finish with this slide here to help you remember maybe that what we call Atma, which basically is reality, is always there to going up, pushing you to, or bringing you as many gifts as you are able to receive. And so when you are able to listen to that and make these conscious choices, offering yourself the possibility of finding more joy, then and only then you can actually live and experience this ongoing support that the reality offers to you. And I really, I mean, this is the benefit of my experience, the one of all the CEOs I've helped so far. There is an ongoing support and nurturing that happens if we allow it, meaning synchronicities, etc., that happens in our world. Now, the thing is, we have to allow it and therefore start to make conscious choices in harmony with ourselves. If you have any question, please do come to the Q&A. And here we are going to, please close your eyes, and I'm going to read the poem about joy or joyful. Free of all concerns, I play, expecting constant support, I laugh. No doubts, no questions. One rule only applies. Expressing one's life, enjoy, happy. Let the universe care. Allow yourself to be free, for your path is a light with brilliance everywhere. Leave the short seriousness. Bring about the sea of joy. In each and every moment is the key to your best expression of joy and happiness. For this is your nature. This is who you are. So in this poem, we can see that what is important in this life that we have with this amazing challenges we put ourselves in is to play, it's to laugh, it's to be expecting this support that I was mentioning earlier. And as long as we forego doubts and questions, everything starts to synchronize itself. In other words, what here is mentioned, let the universe care. And when you focus on that inner light that is yours, that lightness that is yours, that joy that is yours, then the rest starts to align with that, meaning your experience, the situations start to go along with them and really take shape in your reality, bringing you more of that joy. So I hope you'll meditate on that and that you can experience that in your day-to-day. So this is an excerpt from my book, I is Born. You can find on tapwad.com/I. And now, if you want, you can join us on this tapwad.com/who's free. by scanning this QR code. I'll see you in a minute. Bye for now.